Hi, all. Today we're going to meet with my narrator, Ellen Quay. She's going to be narrating Whispers Across the Prairie, which is the prequel to the Emmeline books. And where do you live, Ellen?
I live in Maryland.
Maryland. So you're East Coast. So you're
I
just an
am.
hour ahead of us.
Hmm.
So, okay. Well, let's learn what it's like to be a narrator. For one thing, I wanted to tell you that I did select Ellen to do this because I found her recordings and really the chemistry just felt like Emmeline. She just felt like she was Emmeline. The age sounded correct. She had so much talent. But then it was like over a year ago, I think,
Mm-hmm.
because then a whole bunch of stuff happened and I couldn't do things. And so now here we are. And she's just finished, well, her part at least, the recording. So when I launch the book next month, we'll be able to have both. We'll have all. We'll have the ebook, the print books, and the audiobook all together in June.
That's
So that'll be
exciting.
great. Um, so Ellen, let's hear how you develop the voices, different voices for different characters of a story. How do you begin to do that?
Sure. Well, very often the writing kind of tells me ahead of time, really good writing, and I would include your book in that.
Oh, thank
I
you.
hear the characters' voices in my head, and they kind of introduce themselves pretty quickly. Um, One of the things that I have learned over the years is that less is more when it comes to different character voices. Unless it's like a little kid's book where you need like a big scary thing and you change your voice a lot to keep them engaged, or a fantasy book where there's monsters and things like that. Usually you want the changes to be subtle enough that people can tell, oh, new character, this is a different character, but they don't get distracted by the change that
Mhm.
you make in your voice. So for a man, I go a little bit lower in my register and down here, and I might change my cadence or an accent or uh, there's so many ways to make someone unique, and it doesn't just have to be the volume of your voice or the timbre.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Do you have a favorite character in this particular story?
ooh, in this story, I mean, it might have to be Rusty.
Rusty the
I
dog?
love Rusty the dog. He's got
Okay.
such a personality.
Well, that's fun.
But
I
I
do.
really liked Oliver as well,
Uh-huh.
the friend who was an artist, because that
Yeah.
was me as a kid. I was the one sketching all the time.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I thought maybe it would be Harriet. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if
She's
you
kind of
said
out there.
who are your five favorite characters, she would definitely been in there. She was so funny. In fact, I kind of wish she was in it a little more. I'm assuming she's in the later books a little bit.
She's in the other books, but not
Okay.
a ton. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody always wants more Harriet. I don't know.
You got to give him more Harriet.
Yeah.
She was
Maybe I need
fun.
to
She
do
was
a book
hilarious.
about just Harriet.
Yeah. But I knew as soon as I read her, I knew she sounded like this. That was Harriet. I mean, it
Yeah.
was just, I didn't even have to like mess around with different voices. It's just, that was her. And she introduced herself to me. And
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
cool. Okay. Um, is there anything like different genres, like a middle grade book? What makes them unique? Like compared to, well, I know little kids' books, like picture books, are like
Right.
really simple. But let's say middle grade versus young adult.
So, middle grade, young adult, they start to cover more mature content.
Mhm.
There's a little bit more at stake or more emotional angst. I don't know if you read the Harry Potter books, but you can tell when they become teenagers in those books, it just gets super angsty. Whereas in the beginning, they're little kids still, but
Yeah.
they're almost there. They're um really the story and the content of the story and the types of issues that they deal with tells me whether it's for a young adult or for little kids. Honestly, there are some young adult books that feel adult almost
Really?
nowadays.
Yeah.
But middle grade books, I find there's usually a group of friends,
Hmm.
and it's often those books are often about kind of not coming of age, but kind of that moment between childhood and
Like
when puberty
discovery.
hits. It's just, yeah, that discovery of like, oh, I'm a separate person from my parents.
Yeah.
And you're really starting, the kids are really starting to, they can go have adventures because they have a little more responsibility and privilege, but they're still kids.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I love I don't get a ton of middle grade books, so it was really fun to get another one.
Well, good. Thanks. What else do you do besides narration?
Well, I do voice acting work as well, like for commercials and animation and video games. So that's another part of my voiceover work. I'm also a kickboxing trainer at a
Oh,
gym for women here in Maryland. Yeah, it's a lot of fun,
hmm. Okay.
and that kind of gets me out of my booth and moving, and
Yeah, that's good. And with
yeah,
people too. I imagine it's
exactly.
kind of lonely being in the booth all the time.
Yeah, it is. It was starting to wear on me, so that's what one of the reasons that I went ahead and started being a trainer.
Yeah.
But I also do a lot of theater in the community, so that's another place. That's my people place.
Yeah. Cool. Well, tell us a little bit about what a narrator does. Um, like, how do you how do you go about doing it? Just
Like, how do you get started, or what's the process of making
what's
a
the
book?
process of narration? Like when you first start doing it, what do you have to do?
Well, you need a space. You need a space to record in.
Hmm.
And nowadays it's pretty affordable to get the equipment that you need. And some people, I started in, not this nice of a booth. I started in a very DIY situation. People will use their closets. They'll, keep the clothing up because that's good for sound. And over the years you get a little more sophisticated and stuff. And then you need to learn how to use the equipment itself and the software for recording and for editing your audio. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of technical stuff, but those are all things that you have to learn so you can do the really fun part, which is the narration.
Yeah.
And that is my favorite part. And some people take acting lessons because voice acting is acting. It's just you don't get to see our faces. You
Yeah.
you hear our
Well,
voices.
you know that from even if you just watch a Pixar movie.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And sometimes, when a scene is real, it's not so bad in here because I can move around. This is a bigger space than I used to have. But when you're doing a really intense scene, like in this one with the twister,
Hmm.
my body will get tense, and I can't move around because the mic will pick that up. I can stretch in between, but there have been times where I've needed to take a walk just to like discharge all of the energy that got pent up because I had to sit still and act
Hmm.
something that was really intense.
Hmm.
So it's a very different form of acting, and you don't have to learn any lines. That's the best
That's
part.
true. That's true.
And you get to be
Um,
every character.
yeah, that's true too. How long does it take to do a chapter, do you think, record it?
A chapter, so it
Mhm.
depends on the book, but for your chapters, they roughly ended up around 15 minutes each. So it would be about 30 minutes of recording. I it's usually like twice the time
Hmm.
of the final audio.
Okay. Well, that's not too bad.
No, it's not. It's not. And it took me a while to get to that point, and some people
Yeah.
are even faster. Sometimes I am faster, but generally that's like the norm. But I remember with my first book, it took a very long time because I was still getting used to the equipment and getting used to the software. There's a lot of technical stuff you have to be aware of while you're acting. Your brain's going a mile a minute with everything.
Do you take breaks? I mean, how do you do your break? Sometimes you probably just have to take a break. And then when you
Oh,
do that break and you come back, is it easy to just kind of go back into that same flow or do you have to work up to it?
well, I don't know about for other narrators. For me, sometimes, well, I can tell I need a break. Well, sometimes I can tell because my stomach starts making noises and the mic is picking it up. So,
Really?
yeah. Yeah, but then I eat and I have to wait a little bit and let the digestion happen because otherwise the mic will pick that up.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So sometimes I have to take a walk after I eat lunch just like to give my stomach some time to get its sounds out. But when I start making a lot of mistakes in reading, that's when I know it's time to take a break.
Mhm.
Um, and for me, if I don't take too long of a break or start something new, I can come back to it pretty easily and
Mhm.
just get right back into it. But I have ADHD, so sometimes it's really hard for me to get back in the booth after I leave it. And so I kind of have to give myself incentives to keep going and get back in the booth. But it's
I mean,
helpful
just
when
to
the
get
book
back
is
into
interesting.
character, is that hard to get back into the emotional part? No.
No.
Maybe
Well, so
if you take a break after the emotional part.
yes, you don't want to take a break in the middle unless you need one.
Hmm.
For sure. And I try and always in one sitting record one chapter because
Yeah.
not just for characterization, but your voice changes throughout the day.
Hmm.
So if I stopped recording in the middle of a chapter and it's like late afternoon and I come back in the morning, my
It's
voice is
different.
going to be deeper.
Oh, oh.
And I don't know if you've ever had an audiobook where you were like, what happened to their voice? Like it's so different.
Uh-huh.
That's one of the things that can happen if you don't do things in one chunk.
Chunk, yeah.
Yeah.
And I noticed you'd have a nice little pause in between like scenes.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. The one of the things so I teach narration at a art school here in Maryland, and one of the things I teach my students is that silence and breaths are just as much acting as speaking.
Hmm.
They're incredibly communicative.
And I can really tell the difference. I mean, even with good AI voices, like there's some that are really, really good. And you can
Mm,
even hear the breaths and things, but you still can tell. You
yeah.
can tell the difference between that and a real person.
Yeah.
I
Well,
just,
because we real people, we have memories and life. Like every choice, I'm making a choice. Sorry, I hope that didn't mess with the mic. I make a choice every sentence with how I'm going to approach it, and it all comes from my own life experience and the things that I've read and the things that I've learned. And AI doesn't have that.
no. I mean, some of them are really good, and I know some people use them, but I don't want to.
I'm glad you don't want to. It's not good for the industry,
Mhm.
certainly, when people
Mhm.
do.
Yeah.
Although I will say that I'm very happy when people have accessibility, which I know that's something that this book is focused on is accessibility for people who might need some kind of accommodation.
You know, some of the deaf children that I did meet when I was putting this book together have those cochlear implants.
Hmm.
I'm excited to share this with them. I think it'll be amazing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's what a privilege to be a part of that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So I'll let you know what they think about that.
Okay.
I think it'd be great. I mean, but can you give us a short little snippet of something that you enjoyed narrating in this book?
Sure. As in you want me to narrate right now?
Uh-huh.
Okay, sure, I can. This is from chapter 19. This is the chapter where Emmeline's mother teaches some sign language to Emmeline and Charlie and Charlie's mom. Ma cleaned the kitchen table twice that morning, even though it didn't need it. She kept smoothing the cloth as if preparing it for something delicate, like lacework, instead of a simple lesson. By mid-morning, she finally said, "It's time." My stomach tightened with the same careful nerves I felt before school recitations. Rusty paste and bright confusion tail sweeping the floor. Charles and his mother arrived a few minutes later. Mrs. Sawyer looked nervous but hopeful, her hands gripping the strap of the small wicker basket she carried. Charles hovered half a step behind her, taking in the room before his gaze settled on Ma. "Welcome," Ma said warmly. "Come in and make yourselves comfortable." Mrs. Sawyer settled into one of the 4 chairs at the kitchen table, basket on the floor by her side. Charles didn't sit yet. He stood near the table, back straight, watching everything. Ma's hands, her mouth, her eyes, the way her skirt folded as she moved. I'd seen it before, but here it felt clearer, the way the world spoke to him in pictures rather than sound. Ma smiled at him, slow and calm, and lifted her right hand. She didn't speak the word aloud at first. She raised her right hand and signed, "Hello." Smiling, her palm faced outward, fingers together, moving in a gentle arc from her forehead outward. Charles's eyes widened a fraction. recognition flickering there before he went still again. Ma repeated the motion. Then she said softly, "This means hello." Charles lifted his hand, hesitant at first, trying to copy her shape. His fingers curled a little too tightly, but the motion, the arc, was right. "That's good," Ma said, lifting her thumb in approval. She didn't raise her voice for emphasis. She used her face, her smile, leaning in so he could see her approval clearly. Mrs. Sawyer pressed a hand to her chest, breath wavering with emotion. Ma lifted both hands, index fingers curved slightly, and hooked them together. First one way, then the other. "Friend," she said softly. She repeated it. I watched fascinated. The way the movement felt like something was I already understood, but had never known how to say with my body. Ma turned to me. "Try it, Emmeline." My face grew warm, but I followed her motions. Fists up, pointer finger up and slightly curved, then like a chain, hooking them right over left, then the opposite way. It made sense to me. It was like Harriet and I hooking our arms together. Charles watched me, not shyly, not boldly, with curiosity, like he was learning about me, too. Ma introduced a few more signs. Dog, mother, home. Simple ones, she said, strong ones. A beginning.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow. So this has been great. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. What would you hope that children who read this story, listen to you and get from the story? What would you hope that they bring away?
Um, that everyone deserves to be heard and seen. Something I really admire about Emmeline is her empathy.
Mhm,
She is very attuned to whether or not the people around her feel safe and comfortable.
mhm,
And um, I think that kids, especially in this day and age, we just move so fast,
mhm.
and kids can be really good listeners. Um, and kids can also be really good communicators. And I think that this book really emphasizes the need to meet people where they are and not try and change them, but get to know them.
Yeah. I liked the one line in there. Ma says people aren't, what is it? They're not, they're stories to learn.
Yes.
That line. They
Yeah,
have stories. Everyone has stories.
we do. And to bring it back to the AI thing, I think that right there, storytelling is a human thing. It's one of the
Mhm,
first things we did was
mhm,
start telling each other stories. And I think that it's a privilege for me as a narrator, and I'm sure you feel for you as a writer, it's a privilege to tell stories.
mhm. It is. Well, thank you very much for taking this time. I hope
Yeah,
that,
absolutely, Kathy. It
and
was wonderful. Thank you
I'm
for
excited
inviting me.
to get that in and hear the whole book myself. Very exciting.
Yeah, well, congratulations on
Thank
this
you.
book. I know this was a passion project for you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Hmm.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.